Alright, now that we have all the screws out, your PSU is pretty loose. It moves around, but it's not falling out of the bay. Why is that? Let me point something out for you. If I can get enough light in here and move the wires, there is a tab right here that you can push in, and it's actually holding your PSU right into the bay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a small flathead screwdriver, any size really, and I'm gonna support the PSU while pushing back on that tab. Could be pretty tricky when you have big hands like me. Alright, so I pushed it in and I'm pulling it out. So now what you have is an empty bay. Now the PSU that we're gonna replace the factory PSU with is a thermal take. It is a 430 watt. It's a TR2, and we're gonna set that up. Alright, this is a 430 watt TR2 thermal take PSU. It's black. I actually like this one. If it was my choice, I'd go a bit higher than 430 watts, but I'm also an online gamer and I want to run top of the line graphics card, and you need higher wattage to pretty much support today's graphic cards, such as the GTX series from NVIDIA, you know, the GeForce. I like thermal take. All the wires are braided, nice and secured, protected. This is a 24 pin. Yeah, it's a 24 pin. If my computer, or this computer, was a 20 pin, as you see, these 4 pins on the end can be disconnected. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this right on in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the new PSU in. We're going to put it in exactly the way we took the last one out. And we're going to make sure we move the wires to the side. Again, it might look like I'm being a little rough, but these things are built to handle it. And we're going to put it right up in there. Mess around with it a bit if you have to. And keep pushing until you hear that click that you just heard, and it's now secure. And what we're gonna do is find the screws that came with the PSU. You don't want to use your old screws because they're probably not gonna be supported by the new one. And we're gonna take those screws and we're gonna secure them right in. Actually, I'm gonna start off with my fingers. The screws on the last one were flathead. These are actually Phillip. Alright, now that the PSU is all secured and screwed in, all 4 screws screwed in, I just want to run something else by you guys. When you're dealing with your PSU, there's 2 different kinds of connectors. The only one that we're going to be worried about right now is the SATA, the SATA connector. Alright, it's skinny, it's long, it's got this little niche right here. It's kind of like an L shape. That's what you're going to reconnect your drives with. The other one is a peripheral. It has 4 pins, looks like this, thicker. I'll get into that in a later video, but right now we're just going to be dealing with the SATA, the SATA connectors. And we're going to reconnect everything the way you disconnected it. Keep in mind that these wires are very long and it could get congested in here in a small case, and so I'm going to reconnect the CD DVD drive with the SATA. Alright, so you're going to want to make sure it's going to go right in there, right into the CD DVD drive. You want to make sure it lines up. It's a male-female connector, so it is not going to connect. It's not going to fit if you have it in the wrong way. Usually I'll bring it right up under these wires, and what that's going to do is pop right in. Now keep in mind that you're going to want to keep these kind of organized, these cables, because if you have to go into your computer case sometime in the future to add components or clean it out or anything, you want enough room to be able to work. Alright, next we're going to redo the hard drive. We're going to reconnect it. This is a very small space, so what I'm going to do to make it easier for my big bear claws is disconnect this red wire. So we're going to disconnect the hard drive, and we're going to find another cable that has a SATA connector right here, and we are going to connect the hard drive. Again, it's male female. Make sure you got it lined up. That's also gonna just click right in there, and then alright, see, that's connected. We're gonna take the hard drive and reconnect that. Even if you have small hands, it's very difficult to get in there. That clicks right in. There it goes. So now we have reconnected the hard drive and the power supply right there on the right. Now next we're gonna reconnect the main power connector. In this case, this computer is a 24. If it wasn't, you'd remove right here. You'd remove these last 4 pins to make it a 20 connector, a 20 pin. Now I like to just come up under everything and put that right in there. It's gonna go right into that white block that I pointed out earlier. And don't be too rough with it. It's a big connector, so it's going to take a little bit to get it in there. What you're going to do is put your hand on the other side of the computer on the outside, give it some support, and push until you hear that click. That means it's in there, and that's that. The main connector is now connected to the motherboard. Next, we're going to take the 4-pin connector and connect it to this empty spot right here. This other, it's a smaller version of the main connector. So when you buy an aftermarket CPU box, it comes with an 8-piece connector, 8-pin. Comes like this, and then what you're gonna do is that just disconnects to make it a 4-pin. So now we're going to take the right 4-pin and we're going to pop that right in there. Cables are going to be stiff, it's brand new. Just got to work with it. Again, support the back of the computer, push, clicks right in. Now remember, this is where everything is done now. Everything's reconnected. Looks like a mess, huh? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a zip tie and kind of get it all and organize it a little bit. That way when I go into it later to put the graphics card in and the aftermarket CPU cooler fan, I'll be able to work with it. There's this little ledge up here that I like to use on the extra drive bay. Just pop some cables in there so those are out of the way. And now Make sure everything's away from the fan. You don't want the fan getting jammed up. I'm gonna take, where is it? I'm gonna take the zip tie. Not zip tie, I'm sorry. It's like a little, one of those little metal twisty things. And I'm going to tie all this together. If you have this empty bay right here, if you want to add another CD drive or whatever, you can actually, if you want to, you can just shove some of those wires in there. Just don't be too rough. And that's it. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna plug her in, give her some power. And this one has the on-off button. Turn that on. Hit the power button. And look at that. She's purring. Fan's going. Kind of try to keep everything away from these fans. I mean, you're not going to be moving your computer around too much, so this wire is going to be fine. And that's it. Thank you for watching.